Welcome back. Today we're talking about something that doesn't get discussed enough in aviation circles. We're looking at 5 aircraft that have earned reputations so dark, so concerning, that even experienced pilots think twice before climbing into the cockpit. These aren't necessarily bad airplanes in the traditional sense. Some are actually brilliant pieces of engineering with impressive capabilities, but they all share something troubling. A history that makes insurance companies nervous, designs that punish the smallest mistakes, or operational demands so extreme that they've claimed too many lives. Every airplane can be flown safely with proper training and respect for its limitations, but these aircraft have accident rates, insurance premiums, and reputations that tell a different story. They're aircraft where the margin for error is razor thin, where a moment of distraction can turn fatal, where complexity outpaces the average pilot's ability to manage it. We're ranking these from concerning to absolutely terrifying. Let's get into it. Number 5, Piper Tomahawk. The Piper Tomahawk was designed as a primary trainer to compete with the Cessna 152, but it quickly developed a reputation that made flight schools reconsider their fleets. This small two-seater looked harmless enough on the ramp, but its stall and spin characteristics became the stuff of legend for all the wrong reasons. The Tomahawk's T-tail design and wing configuration created stall behavior that was far more aggressive than competing trainers. When the aircraft stalled, it didn't just mush down like a Cessna. It would often snap violently into a spin with minimal warning. For student pilots still learning basic aircraft control, this aggressive behavior proved deadly. The accident statistics from the late 1970s and early 1980s painted a grim picture, with an unusually high number of stall spin accidents during training operations. Flight instructors reported that the Tomahawk required constant vigilance during slow flight and landing practice. The aircraft's tendency to drop a wing suddenly during stalls meant that instructors had to be ready to intervene instantly. Many schools that initially embraced the Tomahawk eventually moved back to Cessna 152s, citing safety concerns that simply couldn't be ignored. Insurance companies took notice, raising premiums and requiring additional instructor qualifications for Tomahawk operations. The aircraft earned nicknames that reflected its reputation, with pilots calling it the Traumahawk or worse. While experienced pilots could manage its quirks, the fundamental problem remained. This was a trainer that punished student mistakes more severely than its competitors, and in pilot training, that's an unacceptable characteristic. Number 4, Mooney M20J-201. The Mooney M20J-201 represents speed and efficiency in a single-engine package, capable of cruising at 200 miles per hour on modest fuel burns. But that performance comes with demands that have proven challenging for pilots transitioning from more forgiving aircraft. The Mooney is built tight and fast, with a compact cockpit, high wing loading, and approach speeds that leave little room for error. The aircraft's landing characteristics are where most pilots encounter trouble. The M20J approaches fast and floats in ground effect, making it easy to run out of runway if the landing isn't executed perfectly. The aircraft's tendency to porpoise when bounced on landing has resulted in numerous prop strikes and gear collapses. Pilots accustomed to slower, more forgiving trainers suddenly found themselves in an aircraft where everything happened faster and mistakes compounded quickly. The manual gear system, while mechanically simple, has been the source of countless incidents. Pilots forgetting to lower the gear or retracting it accidentally on the ground created a pattern of accidents that insurance companies couldn't ignore. The gear warning system was minimal in early models, and the speed at which the aircraft operated meant pilots were often task-saturated during approaches. Fuel management requires careful attention, and the placement of fuel selectors has led to pilots inadvertently selecting empty tanks at critical moments. The aircraft's efficiency means it can fly long legs, but that capability has lured pilots into situations where they pushed fuel reserves too far. The Mooney demands precision flying with exact speeds, proper energy management, and no sloppiness in technique. For pilots who maintain those standards, it's a capable cross-country machine. But for those who don't, the M20J has proven unforgiving in ways that have filled accident reports for decades. Number 3. Beechcraft Starship. At number 3, we have what might be the most beautiful and most disappointing aircraft in general aviation history. The Beechcraft Starship, with its radical canard design, swept wings and pusher props, looked like something from science fiction when introduced in 1986. It was supposed to revolutionize business aviation, but instead became a cautionary tale about innovation without adequate support infrastructure. The Starship's problems started with its basic design. The canard configuration created unusual aerodynamic characteristics that many pilots found unsettling. The stall behavior was particularly concerning, with test pilots warning that the aircraft's behavior near the stall was unpredictable and potentially dangerous. The pusher propeller configuration created noise and vibration issues that made the cabin less comfortable than expected. But the real nightmare was maintenance. The Starship was a composite aircraft in an era when most mechanics had never worked with composites. Finding someone qualified to inspect, repair, or modify a Starship became increasingly difficult. Beechcraft seemed unsure how to support the aircraft long-term, and as production remained tiny, at just 53 aircraft built, maintaining parts and support infrastructure became impossible. Pilots reported that while capable in experienced hands, the Starship was far less forgiving than conventional designs. The unusual control responses, different aerodynamics, and complex systems required extensive training and frequent flying to maintain proficiency. Insurance companies looked at the limited fleet, unusual design, maintenance challenges, and lack of operational history, and many simply refused to insure Starships at any price. Brand new Starships that sold for over $2 million were worth a fraction within years. Beechcraft actually offered to buy back Starships from owners and destroyed many of them, demonstrating how concerned they were about having these aircraft continue flying. The Starship represents everything that can go wrong when innovation outpaces practical considerations. Number 2. Piper Malibu. The Piper Malibu, particularly early models from the late 1980s, promised luxury, pressurization, and single-engine simplicity, but delivered something far more troubling. On paper, it was perfect. A pressurized cabin climbing to 25,000 feet, enough range to cross the country, and single-engine operating simplicity. But reality turned darker. Early Malibus quickly developed a reputation for catastrophic engine failures at high altitude. When your single engine quits at 25,000 feet over mountainous terrain, options become very limited. The turbocharged Continental TSIO 520 engine was being operated at the absolute limits of its capability, running hot and working hard. When they failed, they often did so completely and without warning. The accident statistics from the late 1980s and early 1990s tell a grim story. Fatal accidents involving early Malibus occurred with disturbing frequency, many involving engine failures, followed by forced landings. Pilots couldn't survive. The FAA issued emergency airworthiness directives, essentially grounding certain models until critical modifications could be made. But the engine wasn't the only problem. The Malibu was complex and sophisticated, demanding systems management many pilots transitioning from simpler aircraft weren't prepared for. The pressurization system, turbocharged engine management, oxygen systems, and high-altitude operations required training and discipline many owners didn't receive or take seriously. Insurance companies recognized the pattern, classifying the Malibu as high risk and requiring extensive transition training. The maintenance demands were equally challenging. The turbocharged engine required meticulous care, with strict adherence to operating procedures. Owners who cut corners or delayed maintenance often paid the ultimate price. What made the early Malibu particularly insidious was how it lured pilots into situations beyond their capabilities. The comfort and high-altitude capability encouraged flights into weather and over terrain unthinkable in unpressurized aircraft. When things went wrong, pilots found themselves in high-altitude emergencies they weren't trained to handle, often with catastrophic results. Number 1. Cessna 177 Cardinal. At number 1, the Cessna 177 Cardinal seems like an unlikely candidate for this list. It looks benign, with its high wing and Cessna pedigree suggesting safety and reliability. But beneath that conventional appearance lies an aircraft with handling characteristics that have caught countless pilots off guard. The Cardinal was designed with a cantilever wing that eliminated the struts of the Cessna 172, creating a cleaner design and better visibility. But that wing design came with aerodynamic characteristics that proved troubling. The Cardinal has a higher stall speed than pilots expect, and its stall behavior is far less forgiving than other Cessnas. The aircraft will drop a wing suddenly during stalls, and recovery requires immediate correct inputs that rusty pilots often fail to execute. The early Cardinals with fixed-pitch propellers were particularly problematic, being notoriously underpowered. Pilots found themselves in situations where the aircraft simply couldn't climb adequately, especially on hot days or at higher density altitudes. The combination of marginal climb performance and higher approach speeds created dangerous situations during go-arounds and rejected landings. The Cardinal's stabilator, a full-flying horizontal tail, creates pitch forces that feel different from conventional elevators. Pilots transitioning from other Cessnas found the control feel unfamiliar, and the aircraft's pitch sensitivity caught many off guard during approaches and landings. The landing gear is more complex than the simple spring steel gear of the 172, leading to gear-related incidents and expensive repairs. What makes the Cardinal particularly insidious is how it masquerades as a safe, simple aircraft while hiding characteristics that demand respect and proficiency. Pilots' rental operations treated it as just another Cessna, but the accident statistics told a different story, with stall spin accidents and loss of control incidents occurring with disturbing regularity. So there you have it, 5 aircraft that have earned reputations that make even experienced pilots think twice. They represent the dangerous intersection of design compromises, performance demands, and human limitations. Which of these would you never consider flying? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, fly safe and remember, some aircraft demand more respect than others.